I'll end this right now.
Joker, it's her! She's the weird reading I've been getting!
Just a heads up, the following video will be chock-filled with major spoilers for Persona 5 The Royal. Turn back now if you don't want the story to be ruined for you. You have been warned. The final member to join the infamous Phantom Thieves of Heart, Sumire Yoshizawa, codename Violet.
Actually, you got her name wrong. It's Kasumi Yoshizawa, not Sumire or whatever.
Didn't I tell you there'd be spoilers? Get out of here, you mook! For those who might need a recap or just don't care about spoilers, let me give you some quick backstory. Sumire, along with her sister, Kasumi, were both training to be world champion gymnasts. It was a dream that they shared together. However, thanks to her competitive streak, Kasumi ended up being the one who thrived, getting all the attention and praise, leaving poor Sumire to feel inferior to the point of self-doubt. And on one unfortunate day, it became a bit too much for Sumire, and in her aggravation, she ran out into the middle of a street in front of an oncoming truck, leading Kasumi to push her out of the way, giving her own life to save Sumire's. Boy, that sounds familiar. Distraught, she soon met a therapist named Dr. Maruki. Sumire felt like she herself killed Kasumi, and regretted that Kasumi's wish to reach the top in gymnastics would now never come true. So Maruki, who just so happened to have the power to change cognition, rewrote Sumire's cognition, making her believe that she herself was Kasumi, so that her pain would stop, and so that she may feel that the dream was not yet dead along with the real Kasumi. It wasn't long after that when she ended up befriending Joker, the leader of the Phantom Thieves himself, and after stumbling into the metaverse, ended up awakening to her own powers as a Persona user. And after much later, when Dr. Maruki tried to rewrite reality itself, Yoshizawa finally remembered who she really was, and with Joker and the Phantom Thieves' help, learned to accept both her past and herself, choosing to fight alongside them to stop the Doctor, now as the final member of the Phantom Thieves, Violet. Which, fun fact, literally means Sumire in English. She proves to be an asset to the Phantom Thieves. And today, I'll show you all just how she'd prove herself as a very strong contender in the world of Super Smash Bros. So getting right into things, Violet would be a very light character, mostly referencing how out of all the Phantom Thieves, she had the lowest endurance, needing to rely on her high evasion as a result. So she would be pretty quick and acrobatic, as to be expected from a pro gymnast. She'd have 2 jumps, and she would be able to wall jump. Now before anything else, let me go ahead and get her gimmick out of the way first, especially since I'm sure that the majority of you already know what it'll be. So when building Violet's moveset, I of course looked at her senpai/leader/ actually her boyfriend and you can't convince me otherwise, as a base. To recap, Joker has a meter called the Rebellion Gauge, one that slowly fills up over time, but it charges faster depending on how close to last place he is, and he also gains chunks whenever he takes damage. And once it's fully charged, Joker removes his mask to summon his powerful persona, Arsene. While Arsene is out, all of Joker's moves are enhanced by Arsene's own additional attacks or improvements. The Rebellion Gauge also slowly drains as well, with it depleting faster if Joker ever sustains damage while Arsene is around. And after it completely empties out, then Arsene returns to Joker, reclaiming his place as Joker's mask. Everything I just explained is pretty much exactly how Violet's own Rebellion Gauge will function, with the one obvious difference being that Violet will not be using Arsene. She has her own persona.
Look at that!
I am thou, thou art I. Accept this contract, the spell cast upon you.
I request we have a rematch. This time, I'm going all in with Cendrillon!
Cendrillon! based on the story of Cinderella. Once the contract is sealed, she comes to assist Violet in battle. As I said, Cendrillon will work for Violet just like how Arsene works for Joker. So as such, let's go ahead and get right into their attacks. Being a gymnast, Violet would be a very speedy character with many acrobatic aerial prowess. And just like the other Phantom Thieves, she comes equipped with her own kind of weapon, with Violet's being rapiers, a graceful blade to add even more elegance to any battle that Violet partakes in. So starting with her jab, she starts by swinging her rapier from low right to high left. Then she'll swing it back the other way from low left to high right for the second jab, then she'll end it by doing a quick spin that leads into a rapier stab. The first 2 hits of this jab come directly from the first 2 strikes of her physical attack animation. Now if Cendrillon is present, she has her own set of moves to do alongside Violet's to work as a complement. Cendrillon's first jab will have her do a swinging chop with her arm from high left to low right, and that leads into her chopping with her other arm from high right to low left for her second jab. It's done like this to turn the first 2 jabs into cross-slash attacks, increasing the damage of the move. And Cendrillon's final jab will have her do a quick roundhouse kick, swinging her leg right above Violet's rapier as she stabs it, increasing the vertical disjoint of the attack on top of increasing the damage output. For her dash attack, it can have Violet do a quick stabbing stinger thrust straight forwards. This directly references her follow-up attack animation that she can do to help Joker down an enemy. Cendrillon will do a thrusting kick forward, stabbing her leg directly above the rapier. So just like for the third jab, this will add more vertical disjoint to the move on top of power, which should make it slightly safer to use than usual. The side tilt can have Violet be a bit more traditional with her rapier and do a quick flurry of stab swings straight forwards. It hits multiple times before launching foes forwards with the final hit, moving slightly forwards when she uses it. With Cendrillon out, she'll do a delayed stab kick straight forwards right at the moment Violet concludes with her strikes, adding a sweet spot at the end of the move that launches foes much farther on top of adding more damage. Violet's up tilt can have her do a quick spin that leads into her swinging her rapier from low to high, an attack that references the third strike of her physical attack. This move really is only better at hitting foes in front or above Violet, however with Cendrillon out, she'll kick one of her legs from low to high while her back is towards Violet, making it so that the up tilt can now hit on both sides of the character. The down tilt can have Violet do a gymnastic slide pose to kick both of her legs low to the ground forwards. This attack will pop foes into the air, that is unless Cendrillon is out. Cendrillon will do a low stab kick right above Violet's legs, once again adding vertical disjoint and damage to the move, but this will also change the launch angle, hitting foes horizontally forwards rather than upwards. For the side smash, this will have Violet start with a quick forward somersault, swinging her rapier from high to low as she flips to deal a quick flinching hit. Then when she completes the flip, she'll swing the rapier from high to low again, but this time slamming the blade flat on the ground. This is the strike that'll launch foes. This move references the final attack in her physical attack animation. And if Cendrillon is out, she'll do a 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock kick, swinging her leg from high to low during Violet's flip. However, she does it right in between Violet's 2 swings, adding a third hit to rack up more damage and to overall help the attack connect better. The up smash can have Violet do a simple rapier stab straight upwards while she holds a pose. It has next to no horizontal reach, but that's what Cendrillon is for. I call Cendrillon's up smash, the clock strikes midnight. She'll start by holding out one arm and then the leg opposite of that arm horizontally. Then at the very moment that Violet stabs her rapier up, Cendrillon will stretch both her arm and her leg straight up as well. This will give the up smash its before lacking horizontal reach, now being able to pull foes directly above Violet so she's able to more easily stab them. And for the down smash, it'll have Violet do a low to the ground gymnastic spin, all the while swinging her rapier outwards as she spins. The rapier will hit on both sides of herself a single time during the spin, hitting from front to back. And to add to that, if Cendrillon's out, she'll do a 345 split kick that hits on both sides immediately. This occurs a few frames right before Violet's first swing, and what happens is that Cendrillon's split kick won't actually launch foes, but instead will put them into a hit stun, effectively holding them in place to allow for Violet's attacks to have a better chance of connecting. Now for the neutral aerial, that last roll will be reversed a bit. Violet will do a few curled up forward somersaults while she holds her blade out. This is a move that's good at dragging foes along, but it's weak and has no launching potential. Cendrillon, on the other hand, will do a scissor leap, which will be what launches foes on both sides of herself. So the attack overall will have Violet attempt to catch foes with a somersault, which will lead to Cendrillon having a better chance of being able to launch foes with her strike. The forward air can have Violet strike an arabesque pose while stabbing her rapier forwards at a kinda upwards angle. It has decent reach, but it will require a bit of precision to be able to land it. Of course, Cendrillon can help with that, as she'll do a quick roundhouse kick right above the blade, increasing its vertical distrint and power like she does for other attacks. The back air can have Violet turn around and swing her blade from low to high, a move that more often than not will send foes upwards. But Cendrillon will do an M&R vault kick, which will have her kick both legs backwards from high to low right after Violet does her swing. This kick from Cendrillon is capable of spiking foes, so if Violet's attack connects properly, foes will be eating 2 glass slippers before being sent back down to poverty. For the up air, it can have Violet do a candlestick kick, which has her kick both legs straight upwards. Likewise, Cendrillon will also flip upside down, but she'll do so with a cartwheel, giving the attack more horizontal range. Cendrillon's cartwheel just allows it to have a better chance to hit, but if you can sweet spot it with Violet's kick, it'll be way more powerful. And the down air can have Violet flip upside down with a gymnastics pose while stabbing her rapier straight downwards. All the while, Cendrillon will stab one of her legs straight down into the same spot a few frames right after Violet's stab. This will be one of the few attacks that still requires high precision even when Cendrillon is summoned, but here's the kicker. Violet's attack, while it doesn't launch foes very far, does put them into a bit of hit stun, which should set things up to make it easier for foes to get hit by Cendrillon's strike. And Cendrillon's kick is the only one that spikes foes, so just like with the back air, Violet sets it up so that Cendrillon can get the kill with that size 8. Just like with her senpai, the personas don't add anything to the grabs, so these will be all Violet. She'll grab with one arm and pummel with a knee jab. The forward throw can have Violet kick off the foe's torso, vaulting them forwards. The back throw can have Violet leg lock the foe's head, then slam them into the ground behind, bouncing them into the air. The up throw can have Violet simply backflip kick the foe's chin, sending them upwards. And the down throw can have Violet get down and leg lock the foe's legs, forcing them to trip to the floor. That throw won't actually launch foes anywhere, it only deals damage while bringing them to the ground, much in the same vein as Snake's down throw. Moving on to her special attacks, we'll of course once again be using her senpai as a base to build off of. So all together now everybody, for Violet's neutral special, she wields a gun. Hope your lamers are happy. It's not even a real gun, it's a model gun that's only made real in the metaverse because the enemies think it's real. Regardless, it's not just any gun. Unlike Joker, who wields the model of a semi-automatic pistol, Violet wields a lever-action pistol, specifically the Roosevelt. At base, it works just like Joker's. Tapping the button will have her fire a shot straight forwards, and this shot acts as a disjointed hitbox, not a projectile. You can mash the button to have her keep firing at a slow rate, shooting one shot around every half second. And also like Joker, pressing into a direction will have her do different trick shots. However, she does different things compared to Joker. Joker uses tricks that he learned from an elementary school kid that wears a dumb hat, don't ask. Violet, on the other hand, would utilize her own gymnastics training for her trick shots. Pressing forwards while shooting will have her do a quick grounded somersault forwards, then shoot once she completes it. Pressing back will actually have her lean backwards and shoot into the opposite direction, and pressing jump while shooting will have her leap into the air. But unlike Joker, who shoots while airborne, she waits to stick the landing before making her shot forwards. You can have her jump straight up, at a forward arc, or at a backwards arc. If it takes too long for her to land, like if she were to jump off the stage or something, then the move will just cancel and she won't shoot, allowing her to act into anything else. If the neutral special is used in the air, then she'll just shoot it either left or right based on proper controller input. Now, if Cendrillon is present, Violet's Roosevelt becomes a Sahasra, her ultimate pistol. All this changes is the firing rate and power, making it shoot a little faster and multiplying the damage output by 1.5. Moving right along to Violet's side special, where Arsene focused on cursed-based magic by default, Cendrillon specialized in the Bless skills. At base Violet, she'll use the weakest Bless skill, Koha, as a direct parallel to Joker using Aha, the weakest curse skill. Violet technically could never learn Koha, she starts with Koga, the medium-powered Bless skill, but for the sake of consistency between movesets, I'm gonna have her use Koha. The animation of Koha shows a small sparkling ball of light be conjured that hits its target and explodes on impact. For Smash, it'll show Violet create a ball of light in her hand and she'll toss it forwards with a gymnast spin, very much mimicking what some gymnasts will do when using small medicine balls for their performances. She tosses it at an upward angle. If it hits a part of the stage or nothing at all before reaching the apex of its range, then it'll just vanish. However, if the Koha collides with a foe, it'll cause a small explosion that'll propel the foe upwards. Now with Cendrillon, instead of Koha, they'll use the heavy Bless skill called Kogon. Cendrillon will take a ball of light and throw it at an upward angle, which will then arc downwards, and if it hits anything, it'll release a powerful pillar of light that shoots straight upwards. Getting hit by this blessed pillar of light will send any foe towards the heavens, capable of getting KOs if the foe is at high enough damage percent, and since the pillar is so tall, it can make for amazing stage control. Moving on to Violet's up special, at base, she'll use a grappling hook, just like Joker. It can be used for tether recovery and can snatch items or other players out of the air to be pulled towards Violet. However, to add a little more Violet to it, I'll be incorporating a special confidant ability that she teaches the Joker when they train in gymnastics together. The Shayne's Hook. This ability allows Joker to ambush shadows from far away by pulling himself towards them with the grappling hook, and when the battle starts, there's a chance that some or even all of the enemies will be inflicted with a status ailment. So to incorporate that for Smash, if Violet manages to catch a foe with the grappling hook while she herself is standing on the ground, then after pulling them down, there's a 10% chance that the foe will end up in a dizzy state, making them vulnerable and giving Violet the advantage. Now when Cendrillon's out, again, just like with Joker, she replaces the grappling hook with a brand new move that utilizes the Persona powers. I'm gonna call this move Rebel's Ball. Cendrillon will merge with Violet, only leaving her cape and belt visible on Violet, and Violet herself will begin a pirouette spin that causes her to rise straight upwards. She has invincibility frames at the very start of the move, and any foe too close will be dragged along, taking small flinching damage before being launched at the top of the spin. And since she's spinning so fast, there's a 10% chance that any of the hits will end up putting foes into a dizzy state, helplessly falling and ending up dizzy after hitting the ground, assuming that there was ground below them, that is. That seems broken, but it really shouldn't be too hard to just simply stay out of Violet's way as she performs the pirouette. She does also go into freefall after using it, so you should be able to punish her properly if the Violet player does try to spam it. And finally, for her down special, once again, just like her senpai, it's a move that's used to help build the Rebellion gauge. But Violet's down special will be very different from Joker's move. The Rebel's Guard puts Joker into a state that allows him to reduce all damage that he takes and transfers that damage into his Rebellion gauge. Since Violet's whole deal as a party member in Persona 5 is to be dodging attacks, not taking them, her Rebel's Guard will actually be incorporating another unique confidant ability that Violet teaches to Joker: tumbling. This overworld skill makes it so that if an enemy shadow were to attack Joker and ambush him, with proper button timing, Joker can dodge the ambush and actually ambush the shadow back in retaliation. That sounds like a counter, but that's not necessarily what it'll be for Violet's down special. She'll do a quick stance, and if she's either attacked, or even if a foe attempts to grab her while in this state, she'll do a quick back handspring away, completely dodging the attack or the grab attempt depending on what it was. It's able to dodge anything aside from final smashes, and each successful tumbling dodge will add a quarter to her Rebellion gauge. The end lag is also very small, allowing Violet to be able to act out of her handspring near immediately to allow the player to perform whatever follow-up they'd like, whether that's to get some distance or even to attack. And once the Rebellion gauge is filled up, the tumbling will be replaced with the one support skill that Cendrillon is able to learn: Brave Step. Brave Step increases the critical hit chance for every party member, giving the Phantom Thieves more chances to down their enemies. For Smash, if you use Brave Step, it'll make it so that every one of Violet's attacks gain a 20% chance to crit. Critical hits deal 1.5 times the normal damage, will down opponents if they're standing on the ground, treating it like they just suffered a shield break, or if the crit in the air, they'll be forced into a helpless free fall state. Though they will be bounced upwards if this happens, and the helpless foe will be able to move left and right until they hit the ground, so they're not totally boned if this happens. As broken as this RNG sounds, there is actually a trade-off. If you activate Brave Step, Cendrillon will not do any of her basic attacks, having only Violet attack as if Cendrillon wasn't there. This only applies to her basic attacks, however. The special attacks will still have their enhancements while Cendrillon remains summoned. The effects of Brave Step also cannot be turned off. It'll remain active until Cendrillon returns to Violet's mask. So overall, this is a pick your poison situation. You can either not use Brave Step and have your attacks be a bit more reliable, or you can use Brave Step, rely on RNG, and would need to use Violet's more precise attacks. But if you can land the crits, you'd be opening up opportunities to take some free stocks from your opponents. You'd have to gamble a bit, but the reward would be well worth it. For Violet's final smash, she'd begin it just like Joker, charging straight forwards and even having the option of turning around and charging into the other direction if you think the attack might miss. Any foe hit by it will be pulled into a cinematic final smash, which I'm fairly certain most of you might already know what it is.
Show us what you got, Violet. Beat him up.
Set the landing!
Violet, along with Joker and 2 other random members of the Phantom Thieves, will rack up damage on all the caught foes, launching them away when the cinematic ends and KOing them automatically if their damage goes over 100%. And if the match ends because of the all-out attack, then the results screen will stay on Violet. Pretty much what you guys expected, right? Well, what if I told you that we're not quite done here just yet? I'd like to add a bit more to Violet, so let's do this. She'll only use the all-out attack if she catches 2 or more opponents. But if she only hits 1 foe, then she won't be assisted by 3 other thieves, just 1.
Would you?
Finish this!
With grace! I won't forget who I am!
Violet and Joker's Showtime attack. Dances with Thieves. Mechanically, this works just like the all-out attack. It's literally just a different cinematic, and that's it. But if you ask me, getting this final smash would be all the sweeter. I should also mention that I probably would need to be shortened and sped up. As it is, it's a little long, but cutting it down to about 5 seconds shouldn't be too hard to do. For Violet's colors, her default of course will have her in her Phantom Thieves outfit, something else that was very clearly made as a parallel to Joker. Her first alt can make her outfit light blue, referencing her gymnastics leotard. The second can be light pink, referencing Kasumi's gymnastics leotard. The next 3 can be like 3 of Joker's alternate colors, with the first alt being red, referencing the Persona 5 color scheme. The next can be a yellow alt, referencing the Persona 4 color scheme, but it can also reference the kimono that she wears when she goes out with Joker on New Year's Day. Then there's blue, the Persona 3 color scheme. Of course, this could also be based off the colors of the Velvet Room. Then she could have a single alternate costume, her Shujin Academy uniform. And this could have a single white and gold alt, which can be in reference to Dr. Maruki. And as a fun little extra detail only for the Shujin alts, using the same method that you would use to change the starting Pokemon for the Pokemon Trainer, you could alternate Sumeri's hairstyle, having her either with the tied-up hair or her more bookish appearance with her hair down and the glasses that she wears purely for aesthetics. Fun fact, Joker also doesn't actually need glasses, he wears them purely for fashion, but I wouldn't be surprised if he also wears them for the sake of looking a little more refined considering his situation. But speaking of once again being just like Joker, her Sage intro can simply have her drop in from high up, then do a pose after landing. In Violet's case, she can do some kind of gymnastics pose. For taunts, her first can have her pull out a gymnastics ribbon and spin around with it before ending with a pose. During this, she'd say,
Let's dance!
The second taunt can have her stretch one of her legs all the way up, showing off her flexibility as well as referencing her battle idle animation. For this taunt, she'll say,
Let's stretch our legs.
"Oop, sorry, wrong clip."
It's cute that you think you can win.
She actually says this quote whenever she uses Taunting Aura. And for her final taunt, she'll do a quick gymnastics pose that mimics her baton pass pose, all the while saying,
I'm ready to go!
And finally, for the victory animations, her first can have her do an innovated version of her front row victory pose in Persona 5. She can do a flip into a graceful sitting pose, and she'd say,
What a workout!
Her second can be her other Persona 5 victory animation, except the one where she's in the back row. It has her spin into another gymnastics pose, but this time while holding her sword above herself pointing forwards. For this, she'd say,
What doesn't kill us makes us stronger!
and for her final victory animation, she can actually do a duet with Joker, ending with him tipping her down and her saying,
We got them, senpai!
and as a fun additive, this victory animation will always play if you win after pulling off her showtime at any point during the match. And that does it for What If Sumire Yoshizawa, aka Violet, was in Smash. Persona 5 became a very quick favorite game of mine, and after playing Royal, they actually somehow managed to improve everything with a game that I already thought was near perfect. How do you do that? I found myself liking Sumire as a character quite a bit. The mystery behind her story was very compelling, and I loved what she brought to the table and the chemistry that she shared with Joker. Even if she probably would be very much like Joker, I think Violet would be so much fun to play as in Smash. She'd be an interesting take on the Joker moveset, which I already enjoy quite a bit. Also, real talk, who agrees with me that she's probably the canon character that Joker ends up with? She's the only character to actually confess to Joker before he can confess. They're literally made as parallels in both design, gameplay, and story. Also, Cendrillon's final form, Ella, is literally in wedding attire. I can go on for hours about this, but I'm gonna go ahead and stop here before all those other ships start firing back in my direction. So, if you liked what you saw and would like to see even more characters be given possible Smash movesets, be sure to subscribe. And if you'd like to support the show and help me be able to make more content for you guys, you can click the join button either below the video or on my main page to become a sponsor for my channel. Doing so will get you access to my private Discord as well as channel emotes. You can guarantee that your name appears in my videos, or even get the option of knowing what if character is coming up next a week in advance. I really appreciate anything that can be contributed. And of course, if you have a character that you'd like to see be given a possible Smash moveset, leave a comment down below or contact me on Twitter at BrawlFan1 on Twit. But do also remember that the next 3 characters, like Violet today, are ones that I personally want to do, regardless of their request count. So I hope you look forward to them, I hope you all enjoyed Violet, and as always, thank you so much for watching!